welcome back to the channel. And oh my goodness, do we have something for you today? If you clicked on this video, you already know something big happened, and if you didn't know yet, buckle up, because BTS Jimin just did it again. He walked out on that Soldier Field stage in Chicago, and within minutes, and I mean minutes, social media completely lost its mind. We are talking trending topics, we are talking fan edits flooding every timeline, we are talking thousands of people saying the exact same thing. This is one for the history books. So grab your drink, get comfortable, because we are breaking down everything that happened at BTS Chicago shows, why Jimin's outfit is being called one of the most iconic looks of his entire career, and why this moment is already being talked about as a defining chapter of the ARIRANG World Tour. Let's set the scene first, because context matters here. BTS touched down in Chicago for 2 massive nights at Soldier Field, performing on August 27th and August 28th as part of their ARIRANG World Tour, which is in support of their 2026 album of the same name. Now, if you've been following this tour, you already know it kicked off back in April in Goyang, and it has been rolling through stadiums across the globe ever since, hitting Asia, Europe, North America, and it's still got more stops ahead, including South America and Oceania. This is not some small comeback show. This is a full-blown global stadium tour, and Chicago was one of the biggest stops on the North American leg. Soldier Field holds tens of thousands of fans, and for 2 nights straight, that stadium was absolutely packed with ARMY who traveled from all over the country, some flying in from other continents entirely just to be in that crowd. And when the group hit the stage, it wasn't just the performance that had everyone talking. It was the fashion. Every member showed up looking like they walked straight off a runway, but it was Jimin who ended up dominating every single fan account, every trending page, every single fan-made compilation video that dropped within hours of the show ending. Now here's where it gets good, because this wasn't just, oh, he looked nice. This was a full moment. This was the kind of look that makes people stop scrolling, rewatch the clip 5 times, and immediately start typing in all caps. So, what exactly was Jimin wearing that caused this level of chaos online? Fans quickly identified the pieces, and it turns out the look was built around Diesel's Spring-Summer 2025 collection. He was spotted in a laser double-loom knit tank top paired with a treated leather-belted trench coat, both straight from that Diesel SS25 line. If you're picturing something subtle, think again, because this was anything but subtle. The trench coat had that unmistakable Diesel edge to it, structured, long, dramatic, the kind of coat that moves with every step and every spin on stage. Underneath it, that lasered tank top gave a sheer, almost fractured texture, catching the stage lights in a way that made every camera flash and every fan cam look like a professional photo shoot. And then there was the styling around it, layered silver chain necklaces stacked around his neck, chunky silver jewelry that fans zoomed in on frame by frame, and a belt that cinched the whole look together in a way that somehow made a leather trench coat look effortless on a stadium stage in the middle of a high-energy performance. Now here is the detail that really sent everyone into a frenzy. The coat, combined with the sheer tank top underneath, created moments throughout the show where skin was visible through the fabric, and fans immediately started calling this one of his boldest fashion choices yet. Clips of him walking across the stage, coat billowing behind him, arm raised to the crowd, started circulating within literal minutes. One fan post that picked up massive traction described it as pure high-fashion drama colliding with rock and roll edge, and that phrase alone ended up being repeated across dozens of other posts throughout the night. But here's the part that I think makes this whole story so much more interesting, and it's something a lot of people are talking about now that the dust has settled a little. It's not just the outfit itself, it's the contrast. See, before the show, fans caught Jimin in a completely different look entirely, something so casual and low-key you'd almost think it was a different person. Photos and videos from before he stepped onto that stage showed him in a simple white t-shirt, one with vintage tour graphics on it, paired with relaxed, distressed denim, glasses on, hair down, looking like your average guy walking around before a concert. Comfortable, understated, almost invisible in a crowd if you didn't know who he was. And then hours later, that same person walks onto a stadium stage in a sheer top, a leather trench coat, layered chains, and commands the attention of tens of thousands of people in the stands and millions more watching clips online afterward. Fans have been calling this Jimin's Duality, and honestly, once you see the before and after photos side by side, you understand exactly why that phrase took off the way it did. It's the kind of transformation that doesn't need extra explanation. You just look at the two pictures and immediately get it. One version is the guy backstage in comfortable clothes before a long night of work. The other version is a performer who understands exactly how to use fashion as part of the show itself, not just an accessory to it, but literally another layer of the performance. This duality narrative spread incredibly fast because it taps into something fans have talked about for years when it comes to Jimin specifically. He's known for having this dual identity on and off stage. Someone who can look completely down to earth and approachable one moment, then transform into this larger-than-life, magnetic performer the next. And Chicago just gave everyone the perfect visual proof of that all over again. Except this time, it happened to be one of the most talked-about outfits of the entire tour so far. Let's talk numbers for a second, because this is where things get even wilder. Within hours of the Chicago show wrapping, fan accounts dedicated purely to tracking his outfits were already breaking down every single piece he wore, tracing it back to the exact Diesel runway looks it was inspired by. Side-by-side comparisons started popping up everywhere, runway model photos next to stage photos of Jimin, showing just how closely the concert version matched the original collection pieces, sometimes down to the exact silhouette. That kind of detail-oriented fan tracking has become a whole subculture around BTS style content, and this Chicago look gave them more than enough material to work with for days. Social media reaction posts covering the show described the overall mood of the night as electric, mentioning pyrotechnics lighting up the stage, massive crowd shots showing just how packed Soldier Field was, and repeated praise for how the leather looks across the group blended a rebellious edge with high fashion polish. Fans weren't just reacting to Jimin either. Other members' looks were getting attention too, but it was consistently his outfit that kept popping up at the top of trending fan threads, described by more than one fan account as looking like something straight out of a fashion editorial rather than a stadium concert. And honestly, when you think about it, that's not surprising at all if you know anything about Jimin's relationship with fashion over the years. This isn't a random one-off moment. He has built a reputation over years now as one of the most fashion-forward members not just in BTS, but in the entire K-pop industry. He's walked runway-adjacent events, he's been a face associated with major luxury fashion houses, and pretty much every single major public appearance, he makes turns into some kind of trending fashion moment. Airport looks alone have sold out designer bags within minutes in the past. So, when people say the Chicago leather look is already being talked about as one of his most iconic outfits, that's actually saying something huge because the bar was already incredibly high to begin with. What makes this particular moment stand out from his usual fashion wins, though, is the setting. This wasn't a Fashion Week event where everything is curated for cameras and a controlled runway environment. This was a live stadium show, 2 hours of high-intensity performing, dancing, running across a massive stage, engaging with a stadium full of fans, all while wearing a full leather trench coat under stage lighting, and from what fans described, some genuinely warm late August weather in Chicago. And somehow, through all of that, the look still ended up looking sharp, dramatic, and camera-ready in literally every single clip fans posted. That's a different kind of impressive. That's not styling for a 5-minute photo op, that's committing to a full look through an entire performance and still having it photograph perfectly hours later when compilations started getting stitched together online. Now let's talk about what's next, because the story doesn't end in Chicago. After wrapping these 2 nights at Soldier Field, the ARIRANG World Tour is continuing on to Los Angeles, and if the reaction to Chicago is anything to go by, expect the hype train to keep rolling right into that next stop. Fans are already speculating about what kind of looks we might see next, whether the group will lean further into this leather and high fashion direction, or switch things up entirely for the next city. Either way, One thing is clear, every stop on this tour is turning into its own viral fashion moment, and Jimin specifically seems to be setting the tone for what people expect from these shows now, both musically and visually. It's honestly fascinating watching this play out in real time, because you can see how quickly a single outfit worn on one specific night, in one specific city, can snowball into something that gets picked apart, celebrated, screenshotted, and turned into a permanent piece of fan history within a matter of hours. That's the kind of cultural reach we're talking about here. A leather trench coat and a sheer tank top from a spring-summer 2025 designer collection became, almost instantly, one of the biggest talking points of an entire international tour, discussed by fans across different time zones, different languages, different platforms, all converging on the same conclusion, that this was a legendary night. So here's the real question, and I want to know what you think down in the comments. Was this the most iconic outfit of the entire ARIRANG World Tour so far, or do you think there's still a bigger fashion moment waiting somewhere down the road as this tour keeps rolling through more cities? Because if Chicago set the bar this high, Los Angeles and every stop after it has a lot to live up to. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like this video, subscribe if you're new here, and turn on notifications, because trust me, with this tour still going for months, there is no way this is the last big fashion moment we're going to be talking about. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let me know which look was your favorite so far, and I will see you in the next one. Welcome back, and thank you so much for watching.